That mess is for the birds. Her rancher father and brothers made sure that the princess of the family had nothing more to do on the ranch than ride her beloved horse, Snowflake. Not once had they inferred that she needed to hang around funky farm animals to make a living. As if, she thought, looking down at her soft hands. Bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. Kaitlyn looked around the room at the sound of her cell phone vibrating. Damn it, she swore softly as she searched through her discarded designer clothing, which littered the floor, and kicked off her shoes. Bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. She jumped onto the king-size bed and pulled back the crisp cotton sheets and duvet, flinging pillows and lace panties over her head. And there it sat. Kaitlyn grabbed it as she fell back against the bed and checked the screen. It was Jean, the sexy DJ with the smooth skin so dark that she was disappointed to find he really didn't taste like chocolate. She said aloud at the memory of his kisses and his touches. But all of that was done, and she already had moved on. She and Jean had said their goodbyes last night, after walking through the Paris streets together. She had absolutely no plans to chit-chat internationally with a dude from Paris and get all caught up in her emotions, particularly when she had no plans to visit Paris again anytime soon. Kaitlyn had lots of male friends she could call in the States to dine, chat, or party with. And since Kaitlyn was one party girl not giving up the panties easily, there really was no reason to lead Jean on. Moving on, Kaitlyn said, sighing. She was already filing away the sexy Parisian as she let the call go to voicemail and dropped her cell phone back among the mess. She rolled off the bed. She twisted her full lips as she looked at her empty Louis Vuitton luggage, her dirty clothes scattered over the suite, and the shopping bags filled with all of her fashionable finds. Right about now, it was all looking like a 5,000-piece puzzle to her. Packing is going to be a bitch. She considered shoving it all in, wherever it fit, but then shook her head. Knock, knock. Kaitlyn shifted her slanted eyes to the door of her suite. She frowned a little at the thought of Jean standing on the other side. I can't stand a clingy man, she thought as she made her way out of the bedroom and across the sitting room to the open door. Kaitlyn's annoyed expression changed at the sight of one of the hotel's bellhops. Packages for you, mademoiselle, he said with a heavy French accent. Kaitlyn stepped back and opened the door wider for him. Merci, she said softly, her eyes dipping to take in his firm buttocks and his uniform pants as he entered the room and set the glossy shopping bags carrying the items she splurged on during her most recent shopping spree. He placed them on the gilded gold antique French sofa. She grabbed the sequin clutch she carried last night and pulled out a 20-euro note to press into his hand as he nervously eyed her slightly exposed décolletage above her robe. Kaitlyn smiled at him teasingly as she used her fingertips to lift his chin and force his eyes to meet hers. Bonjour, she told him, with her eyes twinkling, as his face and neck immediately reddened, as dark as tomatoes. He backed away, turned, and then scurried for the elevator. During their stay, Kaitlyn and her friends learned just how much white Parisian men loved them some black women, and the darker, the better. Kaitlyn stepped back to close the door, but then jerked it open and poked her head down the hall. Hey you, come here, she called out as the elevator doors opened. He turned and hurried back to her. Can I be of service? He asked. Kaitlyn started to say something fresh to him, just for kicks, but decided against it. She glanced down at his name tag. Listen, Gustave, she said sweetly. Do you think my maid will pack my bags for me? The maids are not allowed in the rooms with the guests, he said apologetically as he shook his head. I'll pay 100 euro, but they only have like an hour, in and out. The bellhop's eyes widened a bit. I'll do it, he said, his accent making it sound like he said, I'll do it. Kaitlyn bit her bottom lip flirtatiously, as it was her turn to shake her head. Oh no, Gustave, the only man who touches my undies is the one lucky enough to get them off. He visibly swallowed as his neck and cheeks flamed again. I'll ask my sister. Merci, and it'll be just between us, she whispered up to him, showing off her wide, playful, and innocent eyes. Kaitlyn was a born flirt who knew when and how.